What's up, Comic Book Nation? Connor Casey here, joined by Matt Aguilar. And Matt, it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania
Hey,
9 is this weekend. And the reason we're doing this right now is that I am not going to be here by the time you guys watch this. I will be in Los Angeles covering all things WrestleMania. But we needed to talk a little bit before then, because let's talk predictions for this show, Matt. How do you feel about this weekend heading into it?
feel good. I feel like about a month and a half ago, it was still there was still a lot of stuff up in the air. And so I wasn't quite sure, like, okay, are we gonna nail some of this? And for the most part, I think, yeah, I feel good. The last couple of weeks have been really good to solidify some things, fill out the card. I think it's a pretty packed card. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously anchored by, a few key storylines.
Kind of the one behind me definitely helps. Yeah,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
packed, but at the same time, there's not a lot of filler. Like there's those showcase tag team matches, but other than that, there's not anything I would cut necessarily.
Right.
No, and nothing so egregious as like, hey, let's put on two battle royals so we can make sure everybody gets a pay cut.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, the tag matches, actually, there's like some interesting things within those, like storyline wise, and some, hey, what are we going to do with like Ronda? What are we going to do with that? They've actually managed to shove some things in there, and it's got a lot of fan favorites.
And
So even that is still, not superfluous.
more importantly, what do we do with Otis? Because
Dude, this is amazing, by the way.
that it's so
My
much.
boy, my boy just keeps evolving, always finds a way to be amazing.
The evolution of Otis lives on. But let's talk. We got three big topics I kind of wanted to tackle today. The first one, they've already announced that the show is going to open with the U.S. title match between Austin Theory and John Cena. Now, somebody who covers Raw every week, I saw in real time the John Cena promo that he cut on Theory on the one time he showed up before this match. And we'll call it what it is. It was a bear. He buried him 6 ways to Sunday. There was no way around the logic pretzel he effectively folded Theory into, where he said, even if you win, it doesn't matter because the fans are still going to hate you. They still don't buy into your gimmick. You still don't buy into your gimmick. And once I'm gone, you can't rely on me and pestering me and trolling me to try and get a reaction out of people. But the funny thing was, I went on social media and I looked at all the pundits and the fans, and they all said the same thing. They said Theory winning is a guarantee, that there's no argument that no matter how bad Cena just buried him, Theory's still winning. And there's no argument there. Do you buy that?
I did for a minute. And then ironically, when you put this topic in here, I kind of started to think about it. I went, and over actually just like the last week or so, I actually watched like a whole compilation of like Cena burials on promos. And he's done this kind of thing.
It's like 30 minutes long. It's entertaining as hell.
He's done this to some big names. You know what I mean? He's done this to some people. And there is a part of me that goes, maybe because it would be 17, because of the landmark number, this is a shot. I mean, we don't know how many more years Cena's going to be able to just jump in and do a match. Because, I mean, dude's got a big career in Hollywood. He's busy. We don't know. We've seen with The Rock, right? Like a 1 year can turn into 10 very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. So is he going to have many more opportunities to get that title shot? And then if there was some truth to that promo, does Theory come back?
This wouldn't be 17 because it's a U.S. title. So it's not.
Yeah, but you can qualify.
We're not really running into that.
You can qualify it. You can say 17.
It's not. Right? What it actually is it ties Flair's unofficial record for most U.S. title wins.
That's true.
So.
But like, even just ceremoniously, right? Let's just say like having another title, like having a title on Cena is going to be a rare thing moving forward. It's not, You're not going to have many opportunities to do it. So if you do that, and then you follow his logic in the promo of even if you win, you lose. Mm-hmm. Do we see some kind of character arc from Theory? Yeah. But that's only if Cena's willing to work a longer program. And I just don't know if he has the time. Like, I don't know. So if he does, I think maybe there's a shot at him winning. If he doesn't, how do you come back from that other than winning? Like, there's no way for Theory to come back from that and not like without winning. He has to win. Otherwise, you've just crippled one of your new stars. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So that is my only caveat. Otherwise, I think it's a 90-10 still, but I think there is a sliver.
Sure. So a couple of things. One, Theory has openly said in interviews that he and Cena talk a lot and that Cena gives him a lot of advice. So I have to imagine that when this match was actually made official, Cena put a lot more thought into it than just, I'll show up for one episode of Raw, I'll show up for Mania, and that'll be it. You know, especially since Theory has modeled so much of his presentation and character off of certain aspects of Cena that I think Cena's looking at this a little bit more than just, it's a one-off, I'm putting over a younger guy, that'll be it. I think at some point that they've acknowledged behind the scenes that what Theory has been doing isn't quite working. You know, you mentioned character arc, and if you're going to present Theory as one of the pillars of the future of your company, it's like Roman Reigns and Cody behind me. They both had arcs. They both had story and character progression. The problem with Theory is that there really hasn't been one. There were events that happened last year. Vince McMahon leaving, the horrifically executed Money in the Bank cash-in attempt. If too many things happened to him for his character to not react and evolve as a result. And the only thing we really got was, I'm ditching the selfies and now I wear a jacket to the ring. That's kind of it. There really hasn't.
His attitude changed a bit.
All he really did was double down on, hey, yeah, I'm a young prick, but I'm going to beat everybody because look how awesome I am. That's kind of it. So here's what I think they can do. You have seen a win. Theory finally acknowledges the fact that, you know, I'm not really as good as I say I am. And something needs to change about my presentation. The loss will humble him to the point where I think they set the stage for these two to have a rematch at SummerSlam. Now, the question is, what do you do with Cena if he's suddenly the United States champion? You do what you did when he held the title last time. You have him come out the Raw after WrestleMania, give that episode something big to center around, because let's be honest, the past couple of Raws after Mania haven't been great, especially ever since Fox took over, started airing SmackDown, and that effectively became the A show. There's not really a hook to that Raw after Mania, even though it's in the same town with the same WrestleMania crowd, so they're going to pop for everything. And if you tell them, hey, John Cena is going to be competing on Raw 2 nights after he was competing at WrestleMania, people are going to flock to it.
That's true.
And then instead of Theory coming out and trying to have a rematch with him, you put over somebody that you want to center the Raw mid-card around, whether that's Bronson Reed as this giant unstoppable monster, Braun Breaker, if you want to call him up and give him a massive win right out of the gate, because they clearly have a lot of optimism for his future. Finn Balor, if he beats Edge inside Hell in a Cell, comes out a couple nights later, uses the Judgment Day to help him get one over on Cena, and suddenly he's the United States champion. You've got some options here. And then Cena goes off and he does his film schedule, comes back for a second match with Theory where he goes, you know what? I actually do think you're ready this time, but now you got to prove it. Like, give Theory, because here's the thing. It's WrestleMania goes Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have every celebrity on your show lose. And they are definitely not having Logan Paul beat Seth Rollins. And the only other celebrity match is John Cena. You're really going to have him lose too? I don't think so. Second, if Cena wins, there's suddenly a character arc set up for Theory. And you can also build somebody off of the Raw after Mania. If Theory wins, nothing happens. There's no progression. He gets one more thing to brag about each week, but he's still a kind of ineffective champion. He's going to be immediately overshadowed if this guy over here wins the main event, because he'll actually be showing up on Raw each week.
Yeah.
You kind of have to, you got to get the ball rolling, and you got to present some modicum of forward momentum. And if Theory wins, there's none. Because it's not like Cena's coming back for a rematch at Backlash in a month.
Right. That's the biggest thing. I love your plans, but there's a lot of ifs in that scenario of does Cena actually have it in his schedule to do. If that kind of long-term play, I agree with you. I think there is long-term planning in this. I don't know if it's that long-term planning, but I will say I do think there's more to.
I think it's as simple as it's a 3-day weekend for Cena, and then whenever they want to have the rematch, they have the rematch. And is that SummerSlam in Detroit? Is that next year's WrestleMania in Philly? I don't know, but they've got the options laid out in front of them.
Right. But not just for that. I'm talking long-term storytelling stuff for theory. Like they have to then build off that for 3 months, 4 months?
Good.
Calling a SummerSlam out from there. So I agree. I think it's great. And I think it progresses both. I would hope that's the case because I think that gets more out of Cena than just a one-off. And I think that's always better. And it gets more promos. And I would love to see Theory evolve a bit. I would like to see that. And this is the thing. He doesn't have to go full Baron Corbin. I'm a waste of space everywhere, and I have the same shirt on all the time. But I would like to see him move forward. There's also a part of me that just loves his comedic abilities are great.
And he's hilarious.
I just think he can't use those right now as the kind of heel he is. He needs to be a different kind of heel if he's going to be able to use those. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm hoping for your scenario to be. I don't know, but we'll see.
And for you doubters, here's my last note on this. The arc of Cena's career has a particular chapter in it that he doesn't really bring up, but was vital to what made him what he is. And it was that when he ditched the ruthless aggression thing and started rapping, he was a heel. And he went up against guys like Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, and he lost, and those losses humbled him so that when the face turn happened, made sense. We had been on a journey with him at that point. Theory hasn't had that yet. All he really has is he's doubled down on the crappy 2022 he had, and that's it. So if we're going to have a journey on this, dude's got to get humbled with a big loss. This is how you do it. But anyway, moving on to the second topic. Let's talk women's wrestling, Matt. I know it's a particular fandom of yours. We've got 2 women's championship matches on this show. The build for both has been a little bit questionable. We've talked about that on Comic Book Nation. We've talked about it here on the YouTube channel. But we've got Bianca Belair and Asuka. Not really much of a rivalry behind it beyond, hey, here are 2 wrestlers. They're both great. Let's put them together.
Right.
Charlotte and Rhea. Been a lot for the SmackDown title. There's been a lot of questions as to what they've been thinking with that one because they haven't dove as much into their history as people would like. With the exception of the pull apart brawl, we haven't really seen the physicality that Rhea thrives in. But putting all of that aside, which match do you think steals the show between the 2?
Oh, I'm gonna say Flair Ripley, but I only think because of there's such a momentum to Ripley right now, and her winning, if that is indeed the direction they go, which it seems like that would be the direction they would go, her winning will be such a huge moment for fans that I think it'll overshadow any inconsistencies and stuff to the lead up. I think that ultimately Bianca Asuka might be the better match because those 2, I haven't seen Bianca have really a bad match. It's rare. It's a very rare thing. And Asuka's fantastic. So I just think they will probably have a better match, but I think the moment of Ripley winning will help kind of tip the scales a bit. And that's the moment you will leave with. That's the one they'll play in all the highlight videos. That's the one they'll play at Raw. So I just think that one's going to be the one. So I think overall it's that one. But I mean, I couldn't argue with both. I think Bianca and Asuka will have a burner. I think it'll be great.
I think that Rhea holding the title will definitely be a moment. And it'll be a special moment for her because it plays off 3 years of history. The problem with that match is that Charlotte is miscast. They've started to acknowledge that, look, Charlotte just works better as a heel. Her last name is Flair. You can love what she does in the ring, but her best work, whether it's in the ring or on the mic, has always been when she's the villain. So she's going to walk into this match trying to present herself as the babyface. The crowd is not going to react to it well. and the vibes are going to be off. People are still going to cheer Rhea when the match is over, but if you're having Charlotte trying to make the comeback, people are going to be like, oh God, do we really have to sit through 5 minutes of this before we get Rhea hitting the riptide and it's over? Whereas with Bianca, Asuka, the line of who is heel and who is face is pretty well established. You know, Asuka's an evil murder clown, and Bianca Belair is Bianca Belair.
Right, but even she gets cheered. I mean, Asuka gets right in that gray area.
No one's gonna complain if Bianca wins. And honestly, I really think if this match, if they pull it off, that's 3 in a row that have been 3 WrestleManias in a row that have consistently been great, and they've had Bianca winning each time.
Yeah,
I think if she wins and the match is a barn burner like the past 2 were, I think she can legitimately call herself Miss WrestleMania.
Right.
Same way we've given that title to people like Shawn Michaels, where whatever match she's in, you know it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I think they're going to give her time for that reason.
That's why I hope they do. Yes.
I have no reason to think they would.
I think
I get why they cut time short for her and Alexa, because that result of that wasn't the point.
And there was no build up to that thing either. Like that felt so rushed from beginning to end. Like not just the match, like that whole story.
That got caught in the orbit of whatever the hell they're doing with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy, and the ick that still lingers from WrestleMania 37. Like there's just that it got caught in that orbit. But this doesn't have that problem.
Right.
And it's why I'm picking Bianca Asuka.
I would love to see Bianca win. I think conventional wisdom tells you that, Asuka would be the winner because Bianca's held it for so long and yada yada. But I would love to see Bianca come out and have that title and establish. She's already established, but to establish her as that, like, I don't lose, like I don't lose at WrestleMania, like having that kind of thing on her resume and be able to use forward. And then you do the whole thing as you build up somebody it's a Roman Reigns situation, right? Like who is the person that you build up to finally take her down? And that person gets a huge thing of momentum if it's done right. So, I'm down for that. I'm down for Bianca winning. I think both will be great, but I think the fans really want Rhea to win. And if that happens, that euphoric moment just kind of overshadows any flaws.
Could be. Last subject, it's the talking point everyone has had pretty much since the start of the year. It's the Bloodline. We've got 2 matches, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, undisputed WWE Universal Championship. The Winged Eagle might be coming back. A new title might be coming out. We got Liam Crowley just dropped a feature making a pretty convincing argument for what they should do with the Universal title after this feud is over. The Bloodline could be crumbling. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have finally joined forces. They're going to try and take down the Usos for the undisputed tag titles, but they split up the tag titles because they merged the tag titles. Do we get new tag title belts? So many questions, Matt. So let me ask you this. Instead of just straight up who's winning what, April 3rd, Monday Night Raw, what has happened to the Bloodline?
In my dream scenario, obviously Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeat the Usos. So the undisputed titles are no more for the tags. I think they would be the team ultimately to be kind of the ones that be like, hey, we're not going to keep them together. We're going to split them because that's what's better for WWE. I could see both of them doing that. And also that's one less jab that Zayn can throw in their direction. Like, hey, they're not even going to be united anymore. We're completely splitting what the Bloodline did. So I think that's an easy way to get the title split. So I think you have now 2 titles to compete for. And then Roman, I feel like Solo already had his first loss. So that's a big, you've already established that. We're not even at WrestleMania and you're already kind of rolling in. So Solo's got his first loss. He goes to help Roman. And then that falls flat. Cody still wins. Cody's your new champ. At that point, Roman's looking around, and I think the last person left, right, would be the wise man. Like the last person left by his side. And that's already been teased, right? Cody's already planted the seed of, if he's not if he's not the wise man, he's the advocate, right? Like you've already put that out there. So do you start to tease that like that thing crumbles too? Maybe he's still around after WrestleMania, but like then you start teasing like it's my last person gone. So I think it's pretty crumbled, by the end of, I think that's a major turning point for Roman. I think whether it's the Raw after or the SmackDown after, he has to address the crowd, address the fallen empire type thing, and then we go from there. I have no idea if they're splitting those titles right off the bat. I would love them to, but yeah.
Well, I would love them to split the titles up again, just so we can have champions on both shows again, because Raw's been rough without it. So I think that I think the Bloodline is taking an L this weekend. I think Sami and Kevin are winning the tag titles. Whatever you want to do with those, determine at a later date. And I think Cody beats Roman, simply for the same argument I gave for Theory versus Cena. If Roman wins, what do you do? What happens next?
There's nobody else.
There really isn't. If Cody wins, there's a laundry list of people coming out to try and challenge him. And the first one I would pick is the guy that is reportedly coming back, and that's Randy Orton. You want to talk about a guy that's got over a decade of history with Cody? There you go. You go right from here's one chapter of Cody's life to another, and it's another one where he's got something to prove beyond just, hey, I'm the champion, everybody cheer me in my Homelander jacket. So I think it makes perfect sense for this to be where the Bloodline takes an L. However, I think it's too quick to have it just all break apart the moment they lose. I think if you look at how this story has unfolded, to just have it all fall apart the moment Roman loses the titles, that feels disingenuous. There's way too many dangling plot threads between him and Jey Uso for that not to be a match at some point.
Oh, for sure.
And for Jimmy and Solo's allegiances to be called into question when that happens. Because I don't think it's just the three brothers all attack Roman and that's it. I think
their story will continue.
Yeah.
But as far as the empire of acknowledge me and Guy Ritchie, all that stuff has to crumble because you don't have those huge commands over the brands anymore because you don't own the titles. I think that crumbles. But yeah, absolutely. Like there's a year worth of story from Jay has already planted those seeds, right? Yeah. Several times. Like there's a whole half a year of storyline between Jay and Roman. Right. Wise man, you could drag that out for as long as you want, right? Like there's so much to do within that storyline. So yeah, and that's even if you don't even go off and go, do they bring there's been reports and rumors, right, that they want to bring someone else into that dynamic. Do you do that and freshen things up a bit and like, hey, we've got new firepower now, we're going to claim those back? Like there's all sorts of things you do. I agree with you. I don't think that ends. I just think their titles are gone.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. If you ever read that massive, like multi-volume book that covers this massive, century-spanning history of an empire, a big chunk of it's the fall. It's not just, hey, the rise, and then it fell, and then we're done. No, we rise, and then it's a long fall from the top. And the fans need to feel that fall for Roman. Yeah, because I really want to see what the tribal chief looks like when he's desperate, because we've never seen it, and it's been 3 years. So bring it on. That's where I sit on that. And you know what? Cody is world champion. He has nailed everything he has done so far in WWE. I think he's going to nail this too. And I think they're going to have a lot of fun with the different opponents they line up for him. Because after Randy, give me the ring general. Give me Gunther. You're telling me,
that's gonna be
you're telling me you can't headline SummerSlam with Lion. It's going to be too much fun. But anyway, guys, you can check out our full coverage on all things WrestleMania 39 over at comicbook.com. Follow us on TikTok at Comic Book Wrestling. If we hit 250,000 followers, guys, we get our own show. We got this nice studio here. We get a show. It'll become a reality. We've heard the comments, but we got to do something first, and that's get that TikTok page up there. We're trying to get 20,000 followers by the end of this weekend. Help us hit that goal. Follow us on Twitter at ConnorCaseyCB.
And you can find me, of course, at Matt Aguilar CB.
And CB Wrestling for all of our news stories. I already got, how many? We got 4 interviews right now. I got a bunch lined up for this weekend. I'm heading to WrestleCon just to see who I can talk to. I got Brandon Davis coming with me, and he's going to pull out some fun stuff. But Matt and we'll be holding down the fort here in Nashville. But we're going to have a lot of fun with this weekend, guys. So don't you dare miss it.
It's going to be awesome. Peace. Deuces.